Yeah, what's good? It's your boy Whispy. And in this video, you guys, we're basically gonna start this Whispy theory off with a really good shout out to my boys, and that's Islands Joshi and my boy Herbalist. All right, and the reason why we're shouting them out on this particular theory is because they've helped a lot behind the scenes, like a lot more than you guys think. And I'm not saying like, like a lot of my finds aren't genuine or anything at all. I mean, like, probably like my last two videos, they've helped a real big deal, and I want to give them that credit. I want to give everybody their credit for their input, and I thank you for your vote. And these videos will go as full length as they will. That's just majority for you, and I need you to understand that majority does rule in this society, and that's part of the understanding of what the Antichrist is trying to do. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to start this theory off with the fact that we have misread, once again, something in the game. Okay? These generators that are everywhere in the game, mind you, okay? They're in a lot of places. Although we have not necessarily segregated certain generators with certain symbols, okay? We just took them as all electrical. And that's part of thinking to physical, okay? Now, I want you to understand, it does mean something electrical, but not like you think. A lot of people can connect the dots with, okay, Back to the Future, electricity generator. But one thing you're probably not putting into duality, okay? And yes, once again, I'm gonna say that word 1,000,000 times, and it's because it's infinite, and that's part of what they were teaching us. This symbol means quite a bit more, and I'm gonna show you. The lightning bolt, okay, is an Antichrist symbol. I beheld Satan as the lightning fall from heaven. Luke 10:18. Okay? I want you guys to understand what I mean about duality. Okay? Just because this lightning bolt means electricity doesn't mean something a lot eviler for Trevor. Also, I want to make clear that there's a reason, okay, because you have to figure this. This is a video game at the end of the day. They have different textures for different things, right? Okay? So why in the fuck would they have two different symbols, okay, for electricity? It's a video game. Like, why? Why have that symbol, right? Because this is the duality, okay? We didn't segregate it. We thought electricity. But let me show you. This symbol, okay, just might mean something else pertaining towards something good. And it goes within the duality factor. Zeus, God. The lightning wielder, okay? Once again, this shit is tied into almost every aspect of different religions and folklores. It's all tied in one, okay? We've already touched bases with Greek mythology in this mystery, so I need you to hear what I'm saying on this, okay? There are dualities to this mystery and how possibly to bring lightning, possibly, okay? And this is my theory about this. There might be a different duality within bringing lightning for Franklin in a spectrum of a bad playthrough of the game, an evil one, and a good one that we are not missing. But don't be too excited yet, just off of this pure theory, okay? We are going to collect more theories along the way, but there are more things I'm going to show you. And throughout the video, I'm going to make a few things clear about just Trevor in general and his aspects on the Antichrist. I'm going to clear a few things of that up as I move on to some of, once again, like I promised, more of the shamanism symbolisms and a lot of the physical attributes of the game that we possibly did not connect with the folklores and the religions all tied in one. Okay, now first thing we're going to look at is the symbolisms. Okay, now check this out. I have to make you guys understand something. Once again, every single thing in this game is telling you something. You just have to listen in a certain aspect, and then you take these aspects, you look things up. Okay, there's a reason why they have you look at a phone, you guys, go through the internet, and it says, I find. Alright, you have to understand, the internet is a big part of the mystery. Okay, seriously. And it is part of duality, once again. This is part of these small things that I have to tell you about, and it's part of the symbolism. Okay, focus. If your heart, okay, karma is not in America, okay, listen. America can be taken into dualities. America can be taken into the good and free aspect of like actual living and being kind and courteous and that aspect of life, okay, is split down the middle from the bad people who honestly just create wars and all that fucked up shit that is like literally just part of life, you guys, okay? And that is the duality, okay, between the red, the blue, inversion, stars, okay, and the eagle that holds arrows. Look at the fucking eagle that represents America and you'll know what I'm talking about. You had better get your ass out. They use ass as a donkey, as a clear fucking donkey. They could have just said ass, you guys. There's a reason for this shit, because they are symbols. Let me show you why. Once again. El Burro, okay, a donkey, is once again part of GTA's past, okay? Don't think I'm done with Claude, you guys, at all, alright? No, that's not part of this episode, but don't think I'm done with him. But you have to understand, El Burro is part of he's actually the leader of the Diablos gang. Okay, Diablos. But there is, once again, a duality here, alright? El Burro has shown up in GTA 1. So that, once again, is a correlation between another game in a different universe, between another game in another universe, okay? So we have to understand these things as we go forward. But the donkey is not the only aspect of the game that has to do with this mystery, okay? Because when you look up a donkey on shamanism, you get some pretty interesting things. And as you see, donkey and or ass or burro. And you have to understand, the donkey is one of the things I'm trying to teach you guys about duality and how it can mean both things for each character, okay? This is one of the decision points, I would like to call it, okay? A decision point I would like to define as a point that is neutral, okay? These are the personalities within the character that we have that symbolize decisions, okay, and choices. Stubbornness, ability to make decisions, refusing to move when you know it isn't right, saying no to others, ignoring others' opinions. This is a choice. You can be an ass in this mystery. You can really do. But the fact of the matter is that if you're not subjected to honestly see things in a spiritual aspect, you have to see things in a light that helps you progress within your research, okay? That helps you make decisions the right way. I mean, and if you don't think that, a donkey has anything to do with GTA rather than just a fucking picture in a barber shop, they named Lester's fucking neighborhood El Burro Heights. They named him after him, dude. Alright? Period. Okay, I want to make that clear. Because I want no naysayers when it comes to this shit. You just have to understand truth about what they have put in their folklore. And it all connects in some way. And it all connects with the things that they are telling us. There's more examples of symbolism within this game. And it ties down to the several different animals. Okay? And I need you guys to understand there are several animals. And we're going to go down the list. Now you guys were looking at spiders. Okay, there's a reason why in my last video I told you to pay attention to spiders. Alright, there's a reason why not only Trevor can get a spider tattoo on him that's talking about sin and death. Okay, the wages of them. Okay, the gambles of sin or death. Think about it. Okay, Spider. Alright, he's one of the clerks. Okay, that comes into the at the Ink. Alright, and not to mention that they actually have a tattoo shop called the Pit. Think about it, the bottomless pit, you guys. Okay, it's all there. But you have to understand a spider within the duality of Trevor's representation, which is mostly the man, the evil, the devil side of things. You have to look at it in that duality. The spider is used symbolically. First, to represent the miser, for it feeds the fly, okay, as the miser bleeds the poor. Second, to represent the devil, for the devil prepares his traps as the spider does its web. Okay, think about it though, you guys. Within a duality, almost everything that can be looked at as evil and or good, okay, because you have to understand the master weaver, the weaver of web of fate, okay, wisdom, creativity, divine inspiration, shape-shifting, understanding the patterns of illusion, okay, the female energy, once again, Mother Nature, for the creative force of life, okay, the good duality is the web, okay, the actual internet. It's how you join the religions, okay. The evil duality is tied to something much eviler, okay. Think about it. To represent the malice of evildoers, those webs will perish like those of the spider. I mean, even look at the raven, you guys, the crow. Alright, one of the animals you can turn into in the game that, once again, I believe is tied to Trevor's egg, okay? It's the raven, death, alright? The raven was selected as a symbol of the devil who throws the soul into darkness, okay? Evades the intelligence. Think about it, you guys. This shit is all tied to certain aspects of symbolism, okay, but not just certain aspects of just symbolism, like you look up something and that's all. You need to look up something, understand it, segregate it, rearrange it, put it back into the game. The scorpion, okay, just like it is on Trevor's hand, okay, is one of the symbols of evil, okay, the sting of its tail, alright. The scorpion is poisonous and causes great agony to the person who is stung. Alright? It is often mentioned in the Bible. Think about it, you guys. All of this shit is all tied to fucking animals that represent certain things. Alright? It just, it is all tied. And there's more. Trust me. So now we're looking at Trevor, you guys. And then once again, I'm going to kind of try and speed a little bit through, but this shit adds up. Trevor, there's a reason why this fucking jacket, alright, is lone wolf, alright, and it has dead Latin written on it, alright, and it means trust no one. But fact of the matter is that within a good duality, wolves mean something else, but they also mean something bad within a bad duality, okay? You have to segregate and rearrange this shit the right way, okay? When we go down to wolf, what do we see? Heresy, gluttony, false prophets, the devil, okay? In sharp contrast. It is all, it's all tied to this, seriously, alright? You have to think about it, alright? Fact of the matter is that they put everything in this fucking in this game kind of tied to who would look at it. Okay, when you are Trevor, all right, you look at things in a man physical blood and flesh way. When you are Michael, you are supposed to look at things in a spiritual, symbolic, very uplifting way. Okay, it's about having upwards generosity. Okay, just like they teach you. It's all tied to it. All right. If you don't think that the rhino, once again, doesn't have part to do with the actual religion, it's all there. Okay. Seriously. One thing that's pretty interesting when you look up certain aspects of the tattoos on Trevor is the aspect of the swallow. So now we're looking up swallows, okay? And once again, if you don't know why I'm looking up swallows, then you should really play your game a lot more and understand that Trevor has a swallow tattoo on his neck, and it's not optional to take off. It's just on his neck. You can look at it on your game, okay? But the swallow, when you look at it in the duality of Michael's outlook, okay, you get something interesting that deals with the lightning bolt of basically the devil and Satan being the fallen angel, okay? Understand, Trevor, this is him, closely related to the Thunderbird, okay? Power of communal living, alright? Understanding the value of family and home, protection, agility, ability to maneuver, connection to the arrival of thunderstorms. Okay, think about it, you guys. If this is tied to the lightning bolt that was known as Satan, then it's tied all in the same duality. Communal living, okay? Think about it, you guys. Communal living, okay? Communal, shared by all members of a community. What do the altruist camp do? They share with each other. They're in a commune. Think about it, you guys. That altruist camp sense of him, okay? And I find it very interesting that Trevor, for some reason, cannot, and I know this sounds weird, but he can't get naked unless he appears naked, which leads me to think that there just might be special clothing and or possibly uniforms that we have to wear. I mean, there's a reason why they give us Kiflam robes, and there's a reason why they give us a Children of the Mountain t-shirt. But, you know, for Trevor, they give us a dress, and then they give us just skin. Think about it. Flesh. I think it has something to do with it, you guys. But there's more to do with this symbolism. But aside from the symbolism, we will do a lot with the physical things. Okay, we'll deal with them, and once we deal with them, I want to kind of move on to why they have to deal with the game. Okay, because if they're not dealing with anything that has to do with the game, then there's no point, right? But let me show you, okay? Now that you understand duality can be both sides of the same coin, okay? I wanted to drill that into your mind a little bit so that you understand some of the deeper aspects of the game that are basically made up of the same exact formula, okay? Now, understand the prophecy, all right, is a big part of this mystery and the second coming of Christ, which was basically a war, okay? It was a war between Satan and Jesus. And there's a reason why they have Michael named Michael, okay? Because there's an archangel called Michael who fought the Antichrist. And this is all within several different outlooks of different religions, okay? But we have to understand and accept all of them in order to understand a certain truth. And once we understand that truth will lead us to physical items that are in the game. The physical items are yet to be understood yet, okay? Which is why once I show you this, I don't want you to be too excited to go and try things because we don't necessarily know yet. We're going to make sense of these things as we go. So, I just hope that your mind is open. And now you guys were looking at Trevor right by the Vanilla Unicorn, like literally in the same exact parking lot area, okay? I want you to pay attention to something, okay? This is a gold, all right, a gold fucking billboard that's just sitting there. And notice the red, gold, and green, all right? But you need to understand within a duality it means something else for Trevor. And notice how it says they're Armageddon proof. We're supposed to understand Armageddon within this, all right? This is all part of the clue, all right? They put this shit all near his fucking area, and there's more things that are by this fucking area that are pretty interesting that have to do with the Antichrist. Okay, the next thing I want to bring your attention to is this man's truck. And not only can we, you guys, seriously, we can put fucking horns on his truck, okay? Think about it. There's a tiny fucking bear right there. Think about it, you guys. It's a bear. And what did I tell you about the genitals of the Antichrist and the several beasts that would take form? And one of those beasts was a bear. Think about it. I mean, look at it, you guys. They have a mission, fallen angels, alright? Think about it. This is supposed to be like where fucking bums and shit go to, you know, like rehab and whatnot, but it's right around the corner from a strip club, the Vanilla Unicorn. It's literally right there. So, you have to understand, fallen angels. It's all in duality. It is, motherfucker. Think about it. It's all about that. It really is. And it's really about the truth. Understand it. And like I said, don't turn away because it's just wordplay. We can all solve it together because it's actually fun when you start to understand it. Okay, and now, before I get to something that we should have paid attention to from the very beginning, I'm going to show you. The fact of the matter is that these clowns and why Trevor is afraid of them, okay? One, he's not afraid of them, he hates them, alright? He does not like clowns. And it's no different than the duality of not liking something that actually makes people happy, you guys. Like, it's like he just doesn't like happiness, period. When he hallucinates, he sees happiness and he wants to kill it. He sees it as a threat, period. And that's how the Antichrist thinks, you guys. And another duality to a clown that we're probably not thinking of is laughing now, but crying later. Because when we have fun in this game, we don't unlock shit. Think about it. Look at the tattoos on the side of the wall, you guys. Okay? They all have to do with the mystery. The tiger. Alright? That has to do with the mystery. It has to do with the Antichrist and what it represents, okay? Trust me. The sword we will be getting into in a minute. But the snake and the aspect of the snake penetrating the panther. The panther is the Antichrist. They have the boat with the sun and the water. Think about it. Love. Okay? Think about it, you guys. It's all tied together. But we have to understand, even the Marines, they're pointing towards water, they're pointing towards all of those things. Yin and yang, dualities, the sun, it's all there. The phoenixes, the Antichrist, it's all telling us things. But one thing I want to show you is the aspect of something in particular that's pretty interesting. And it's right about here. Notice how there is a top hat with a skull here. Okay? Aside from the skulls meaning other things within the game as far as death and Trevor, okay? It means for him to kill the snake and to kill the love, kill it, the crossing of the swords we will get into, like I said. But understand, the anchor is what brings and stops the ship. Okay? The anchor. They have the heart with skull and crossbones. Okay? Think about it. They even have the bluebird with the love and the sword. Okay? The sword is very interesting, and I will be getting into it, like I said. But we're going to focus on this top hat and skull because it has to do with something very relevant in the mystery. That was something that, once again, we overlooked. So now what we're looking at is one of the first trailers for Next Gen, you guys, and this is something we should have paid attention to from the beginning. And this is my point about us just taking things for granted because we see something cool.
Welcome to show business.
Watch it again.
Nothing but make-believe will ever feel quite real again.
Him. I need you to understand something about him, you guys. This man right here is something very relevant within GTA's history. And not only is there a reason why they have his face looking the way it does, but there's a reason why he has this hat and he has the rose, as I've brought up before. There's also a big reason why within the Next Gen photographs they showed Trevor hitting him with a bat. Okay? A bat, you guys. There's a deeper aspect to this, and I'm going to show you why. And this is what I'm talking about. The hi-hats. Something that has been part of Rockstar's past. They produced, okay, the Warrior game. And the Warriors was not only a very successful and a very, very good game, but it was a very appreciated game by Rockstar. They loved it. Okay? Trust me, it is part of the mystery. And if the first thing you're wondering is, well, dude, these guys are red and that guy was white, well, I ask you, if you don't see that clearly, you can clearly see a white version of one of them right there. And that's not just a glitch, okay? In fact, as it says right here, the red long sleeve shirt with black stripes on the sleeves, okay? Those were the regular ones. But the lieutenants, you guys, the lieutenant shirts were white instead of red, okay? So understand, that is a correlation, once again, between their past work and what the fuck they're doing. But this does not mean go find that mime, and this has something to do with the mystery. That's why I'm trying to show you this physical shit at a pace, because once again, it's to understand a hi-hat, okay, is a big part of Freemasonry. And a Masonic hat, okay, worn by the master of the lodge signifies his authority, okay, his authority of his rank and status, the origins of which go back over many centuries. The wearing of a hat by worshipful masters alludes to the crown that adorned the head of King Solomon. And what was the very first person we see in the trailer right before they show us a fucking mime wearing the exact same fucking hat? Solomon. Think about it. Possibly deciding to be a movie star or not could have something to do with a biblical sense of Jesus and King Solomon. But we're not done with the research just yet. These are just, once again, physical connections solved by research that we will get down to the bare knuckle of. But there's seriously, you guys, if you really don't believe me about this hi-hat shit, they really did put it in several thousands of places all around just to show you. Just so you would eventually under-fucking-stand. This has something to do with something they've done, something in real fucking life, and something in the fucking game. But it's tied, once again, to the mystery. And you guys, once again, if you think I'm bullshitting about any of this symbolism with these animals, they put them fucking everywhere. Even in the new Heist DLC. Alright? They put fucking clues in here. Shout out Herbalist, seriously, bro. Like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't seriously have people to understand certain aspects, okay? And that's my point about us helping each other. We need to all come together on this and trust one another and stop being so negative, okay? They put the star right in the middle of the fucking floor. Different places like the horse. It's all there, you guys. Seriously. It's all fucking there. All I've been trying to do is show you. Okay? The snake can also be bad and it can also be good. It's all aspects of duality, okay? It's about what role you choose in it. We just need to understand it first. And once we do, then you can make your choice. Be evil, be good, whatever. Go for the Easter egg that you want, but we need to figure out how to trigger whatever Easter egg there is first. And speaking of just aspects of the Easter egg and physicalities, we're going to talk a little bit about that sword, like I said. So now we're looking at Fred's pictures, okay? And one thing I want to ask you guys is, why in the fuck do we even have this in the game? Why would a game that would apparently not have a mystery and be so based on shooting people and prostitutes and all that have a Disney reference? Why, right? Here's possibly why. What else do we know to be tied to Disney? Now, if you did not know, it is a witch named Merryweather. Okay? A fucking witch named Merryweather. In all blue. Okay? Now, I want you to understand what I mean about this, because she's tied to a lot of aspects of how you say truth. Like I said, these witches, especially Merryweather, okay, has a big aspect to do with Disney. But not only is that the Disney connection with GTA 5, but it can be an aspect of truth within the mystery. Within the story of Maleficent, okay, Maleficent being an aspect of a demon and or some virtues in an antichrist. Okay. In their quest to rescue Philip and escort him to Aurora, they again display how powerful their magic could truly be, using their wands as cutting torches to free him of his shackles and open the locked door of his cell, conjuring holy weapons, the shield of virtue, and the sword of truth. The sword. You have to understand something about this sword. Okay? Diablo even plays a factor into Maleficent. It is Maleficent's raven. Once again, it all ties within duality. But you have to understand and see what they're talking about and what connects the certain things. Okay? This sword of truth, okay, is the only thing that could kill Maleficent. Right? So understand, we have had swords in GTA's past, but that's not why I'm showing you this. Because, as you know, we don't have a sword in GTA 5. Or do we? Now, once again, revelation was found in the aspect of Jack Sheep servicing trimanifold R108. Okay? Applying that to the dates found into the game, okay, we get these verses. Alright? Now, not only does this have to do with aspects of angels standing in the sun, okay, and all of the aspects that we've been looking at, okay, I want you to understand. And then I saw the beast, and the kings of earth and their armies gathered together to wage war against the rider on the horse and his army. Okay? But the beast was captured, and with it the false prophet who had performed the signs on his behalf. The false prophet could possibly be Franklin. The beast could be Trevor. Possibly. With these signs, he had deluded those who had received the mark of the beast. Okay? The writer did. And worshipped his image. The two of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. Okay? Those are the two, the false prophet and the beast. Possibly when you are Franklin siding with Trevor. Think about it. The rest were killed with the sword, you guys. The sword. Coming out of the mouth of the rider on the horse, Jesus, and the birds forged from themselves on their flesh, the sinners. Understand, once again, we don't have a sword, to our knowledge. But what do we know to be at least wielded like a sword? This is the katana, you guys. The sword that we have seen in most GTA games. And one thing I want to make very clear is that aside from the hidden aspects of GTA 2 and other things that we have found connecting their universes together, in GTA 5 they have made a note to mention Vice City and San Andreas for a reason, okay? It was intentional, okay? Not mystery related, but intentional. So given that fact, they wanted you to understand these games had something to do with it. This is probably one of those things that we did not look at. The katana. When we take the duality of what a katana can actually mean, given that in the GTA universe, they use brands, okay, brands as a duality, whether it be Coca-Cola or Sprite. They use a duality like Sprunk, okay, and E. coli. Think about it, okay? They use brands. This is fact. So understanding a brand and understanding the katana, also understanding combining two dualities into one creates something that we have in GTA 5. A brand named Katana can link us to something that we have, which is a golf club. Think about it, you guys. A sword. Think about it. We can only go golfing with Michael and Trevor, okay? With the duality of it being a sword. It is prophesized, okay, and you can look this up for yourself. The Antichrist is to rule with the iron rod. What do we know to be iron? A golf club. Think about it. It's very interesting that when you're Michael, you just sometimes are leaving the country club. There's been times I've left the country club and didn't even do any of the golfing yet, and they just have me leaving. Very interesting. But what's even more interesting about the country club and Rockford Hills is this. Okay, so now we're looking at the famous GTA map. And like I said, there's something very interesting just about the whole Rockford Hills area. Okay, it's very, very interesting. And I need you to understand how the barber shop, Michael's house, the golf course, all of that connected right here. It looks very interesting. Not really to, the untrained eye because they don't care, right? And I'm not saying just because you don't see it, you don't care, but more or less the people who don't give a fuck enough to look. Really just pay attention to how it really looks and how these curves are. Okay? Looks almost like there's something here. I'm gonna show you something. Show you something very interesting that I feel as though you can only kind of see whether you're on a top-down position of your in-game map or you're actually looking at this map. And seriously, before you call it Jesus toast, just open your mind. Is that or is that not the head of an eagle? And I understand if you don't see it at first, but you have to understand, once again, there's a reason why they chose these patterns and these textures to make a blueprint map, okay? Because blueprint maps are usually made only for novelty. When it comes to an island or something like this, they're usually made practically for structures, okay? If this was supposed to be an in-game literal map showing you special things within the actual idea of it, then it would have to be real, right? But it's a novelty thing for them to make a blueprint map of an island. It's a novelty thing. They don't really do it. So, using that ethic of making a blueprint, okay, they took a lot of the lines they knew they could make to make certain things come alive, okay, when you look at them in certain ways. And I'm sorry, you guys, but the eye is right there. The beak. Come on. If you don't see what I'm saying, then I don't think you want to see it. I think that's the problem. Okay? I understand that it's hard to see certain things, but there's a reason why they put a lot of shit in this map. If that's a Ninja Turtle, and if you mirror half of the map and you get a reptilian, think about it. One thing you guys didn't necessarily think about with this map is look at it. Doesn't it? Look at it. From here is a neck, okay? A neck. A chin, lips, right here, a nose, okay, and as you see, Polito Bay is a horn, the head of the devil. Think about it. But I understand once again if you don't see it, because this game is about perception, okay? And they knew that not everyone would see certain things, because we don't all see the same thing. It's why the Illuminati is so elusive, and why we mistake it for so many things, and why it looks like one thing and then looks like the next. Because we don't want to accept a lot of shit, you guys. That's all. I'm going to show you one more thing before I go. And once again, don't think that just because I came to somewhat of a conclusion in this video that any bit of this theory or any of it is just underlooked, like I'm not coming back to it. We will solve this. We will come back when we understand the necessary tools, okay, the physicalities, to actually come back to, alright? If we're going to bring physicalities into this mystery, we need to do it the right way, and that's understanding them first, okay? But aside from that, there is one more thing that I find very interesting about the Bible and about Trevor, and what I think is what we have to possibly do when it comes to him and the vanilla unicorn. So now you guys were looking at Ezekiel 10:1, and I want you to understand something about these Bible verses is that, yes, they are tied to aspects of the Antichrist and Judgment Day and whatnot, but once again, that doesn't exclude the dualities of the other religions tied into one, okay? It's like they're telling the same story, but in several different languages and several different stories, okay? One thing that I find interesting is that I found New King James Version, okay? I found that in Jack Sheep Servicing Tri-Manifold. Now, applying that to the fact that in this verse, it says, I looked and saw the likeness of a throne of lapis lazuli. Above the vault was over the heads of the cherubim. Now, the cherubim is they're like the highest angels next to God, next to the seraph, okay? Now, one thing that's pretty interesting, though, is that the King James Version, along with other versions, differentiate themselves, okay, from saying lapis lazuli, and they actually call it sapphire, okay? It says, then I looked, and behold, in the firmament was above the head of the cherubims. There appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne, the throne of God. Okay. The fact of the matter is that the throne of God can be taken in different dualities within this story, and I think the corruption of the throne, if taken into context of certain aspects of different religion, there are certain religions that believe the throne can be a temple, and if a temple in certain religions can be objectified to be the human body, then is the human body our temple and or our throne? But I ask you, if that's into play, okay, again, this is a theory, if that is into play here, then it makes a lot of sense why I found a certain aspect of a certain body who is named after Sapphire. Okay, so now it's probably one of the last things I'm going to show you guys, but I just want you guys to understand what I mean about this, and just the whole aspect of, once again, how you see the green and the purple. These are aspects of nature, man, evil, okay? The flesh, the lust of the flesh is all tied in one, okay? But I want you to understand something very odd happened to me, and it was given odd because of the fact that we've looked up all this research, and that's kind of my point. When you understand the research, things start to click, and when things start to click, you start to understand the physicalities of things that are in the game. So, in keeping with that, I want you to pay attention to something.
If you like me now, you'll love me in the back.
Okay, right there. I want you guys to pay attention. I didn't do anything to that stripper. Okay, I want you to think about this for a second. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna talk. This stripper is gonna barely talk to me. Okay, but she's not going to follow me. This one, okay, with the blonde hair. Just watch what I mean about this.
Wanna dance in the back?
She approaches me. I don't say anything. I move on. I stay there. She walks away, you guys.
Me now, you'll love me in the back.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that in a second.
You
But-
look like you need a dance, honey.
But you see how she doesn't follow me. Even if I'm near her, she doesn't come up to me anymore. She just, that's it. But watch this.
If we go in the back, I can show you better.
Now, I think they implemented strippers to follow you,
Follow
okay,
me.
around here to seduce you for a reason. It's all part of the sin, okay? But one thing that's very interesting is that this bitch's name is Peach. And we know peaches to have to do with man, okay, before it is enlightened. Peach is not the eagle. It's not the apple. Think about it. And she has a dragon tattoo.
Back for more.
Think about it, you guys. Very odd that she has a dragon tattoo. And she represents man. Okay? And I think this is a representation of temptation. And it makes so much sense that when Trevor owns, when he owns the vanilla unicorn, he can do whatever he wants. He can touch the stripper as much as he wants. He can drink as much as he wants. He gets away with whatever he wants in front of anyone. Think about it.
Does that get you?
Her fucking thing says born to ride. And what's even more interesting is the fact that not only is her head the same color as that purple, and it's all within duality, but under her tattoo is something very interesting. On this side, okay, which I'm going to give you a better shot of, is a skull. Okay, now, I want you to understand, this under ride is a skull, okay? And this under born is a rose, okay? Think about it. The killing of love, okay? The strippers. Think about it, you guys. But what's even more interesting is that after a while of this bitch dancing on me for a minute, she doesn't succumb to temptation, which means she's just there to tempt you. That's one of the sins, is the temptation and the going after the temptation, okay? It's not just about you fucking her or none of that bullshit, you guys, but you gotta really understand. This is a deeper aspect of sin, okay? Her grinding on you and all that shit. It's tied to a Freemasonry ritual, Okay? Seduction. It's one of the many forces of symbolism in nature. And you can look this up yourself. It's not just about
Maybe
insertion.
If we get another girl in here, you'll up your game.
But see, she adds a new female. Okay? And what's very interesting about this new female is that
If we get another girl in here.
her name is Sapphire. Sapphire, you guys. And one thing that's very interesting about Sapphire, okay, given the aspect of the godly number, is the aspect of how many emblems she has on her necklace. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She is, in some form, a body of God, a representation of that spirit. You can take her home, and you can fuck this bitch. And I think, you guys, this is part, okay, just a small part of the physicalities within the game that symbolize biblical things, no different than the golf club, okay? And if you still think that these biblical things don't have anything to do with the game, I find it very odd that they leave a bat, okay, a bat at the altruist camp. And you can't even buy bats in the fucking ammunition, you guys. We have to find them, think about it, thus making them somewhat rare. Why would a bat be rare? But if you think about the lineage of Cain, and Cain being tied to brothers, and how Trevor deems Michael to be a brother, it's no different than him slaying his brother, and how Cain slayed his brother with a club and or a bat. There is something very interesting about the mark of Cain that I will show you before I go. And I think it also has something to do with the aspect of rock bands. Okay, so now we're looking at the Epsilon tract again, you guys, and I want you to understand chapter 2, verse 4. Okay, there's something very interesting in here that a few people have been asking me about, but I'm going to answer them as far as my personal aspect of what I think they're talking about, okay? Understand, within wordplay, just because a word sounds like a word does not make it another word, okay? If you take lie, okay, which means lie down, and lie within deception, okay, and be it that they mean one word, okay, when you spell them, that does not exclude the fact that a word sounding like another word isn't a clue to go after another word. And I know it sounds confusing, but let me explain. Cast off the cane. They say this very randomly. It has nothing to do with this verse. And then it's talking about the rest of the verse being that the war between Kraft and his unsavables, as you will, basically he's saying that the unsavables will be fertilizer, okay, in the 10th pentagram. And fertilizer is very interesting because in the second coming of Jesus they mention that he will be wielding a sickle along with the sword, and the sickle is to harvest the earth. Fertilizer, harvest, it's all the same thing, you guys. And you have to understand, once again, Cain, just because it's actually spelled that way does not take away the duality, okay? The mirror. It does not take away the fact that it sounds the exact same sound as a nether cane. Not only is cane an old GTA weapon, but the mark of Cain, okay, once again, is a biblical aspect. And it's also a band that started in 1988. The Mark of Cain, okay, has a lot of interesting album art that deals with tones of the military. And it's very interesting that even their newer albums feature helicopters, panthers, and X'd lightning bolts. It's very odd, you guys, and I feel as though some part of this is pointing towards, once again, the rage, the rampage, the club, the sin. It's all tied together. It really is, you guys. And once again, you can call my theories far-fetched, but I think more or less you should ask yourself, why do they connect, rather than why don't they? Yeah, and I understand, you guys. I know this video came out a lot longer than anticipated, but once again, when you find more information that connects to certain things, it just starts to add up. And the fact of the matter is that that's a good thing, okay? It's only leading us more and more into what they were trying to lead for. Now, one thing I want to talk about right before I do go is this. Cut here, okay? Everyone has always asked this, well, we're supposed to kill Trevor, right? Just kill Trevor, kill Trevor. But that's part of what I mean about not putting any thought into a connection or a clue that they may be giving us, okay? They could have easily said slice here, could have easily said slit neck, could have easily said kill me. It could have said a lot of things, you guys, but it said cut here, okay? It says cut here. Something's very interesting about this and what I brought up earlier, okay? Now, figure this. If the Antichrist is to rule, okay, to rule with an iron rod, and Michael is to slay the dragon with the truth, okay, the sword of truth, then they're supposed to cross swords. And if that is so, then cut could possibly mean a cut shot. A well-known golf shot. And that's my point, you guys, is I don't want you to rush out and go try and get a bunch of golf clubs and, you know, go and try to smack fucking Trevor. It's not necessarily about that just yet. We are gaining the physical list. Now that we have some assumptions to certain items, we can start putting into place certain places and certain aspects of the game, like timings and missions. Okay, this is once again going to come out of process, but it's all about how you look at it. For those of you who would stay here this long to watch this video, I truly thank you, and I truly appreciate you. And, you know, for those of you who are true jetpack hunters, the only thing left is to spread the truth.